Oh, hey everybody. I thought I would just jump in. I just wanted to jump in real quick before some of the trolls wake up and just say Sunday Night Crime. Hi. And I've just slowed. Hi, Jessica. I might need your help if trolls wake up. Um, yeah, happy Sunday, babe. It has been quite a week, and a couple things that I wanted to. Jess, can I just make you a moderator? Is that okay with you? Because you're like one of the few people I trust. Hey there, Cindy. Good to see you. Just want to thanks, Jess. I appreciate it. I'm going to go back up here. Let's see. Add moderator. Okay, great. Thanks, Jessica. Just I want to make it a quick one tonight, but I had a couple thoughts. And shout out to Jessica Salas, first person on moderator. Thank you. It's funny. I was thinking crime time, right? And trends in crime. So because I was watching a couple different people, and some of you have seen me jump into different posts, and I'm going to say hi to some of you in a minute. Some of you have seen me jump in, and I really love listening to other people do their thing. And, I really enjoy this. And sometimes I get so hyped up. And I've been working nonstop. And so today I taught a class, I did 5 videos, just so much stuff. And I'm here with you, and I want to talk about the trends. Like if we look at what's happening right now, because a lot of people say, what's happening with, why is this Watts case so big? Why are we so into it, right? Why was it so similar with Jodi Arias? And I was thinking about that and going, I wonder if crime and outrageous crimes like that tend to shift an entire generation. And I think what I'm getting at is when Jodi Arias murdered Travis Alexander, what we saw at that time was really a collapse of a lot of MLMs, a lot of these multi-level marketing thing, and particularly the one they were doing, legal something. Forgive me for not knowing the name of it. But a couple things that I want to say is that, and I'm going to look at all of you in a minute, but the legal thing that we are, legal, it's not legal Zoom. What is it called? Prepaid legal. They had to change the name after Travis was murdered. And I think that it really, during that time, we saw a lot of, yeah, exactly. And it became Legal Shield. Thanks for that. Yeah. And what happened, though, is that a lot of MLMs became very suspicious. And I think that was when they kind of broke open for us and we all went, no, I don't want to buy oxygen in a can. Okay. I have a friend who was, I'm not kidding. They were little aerosol cans. And she said, Tori, you have to buy this. You have to buy this. And I went, well, what is it? And she's like, oh, and she's great at this, right? She could sell, I'm telling you, she could sell, poop to a garbage collector. I mean, she's amazing, right? I'm not that way. But anyway, so the point I'm making is that she goes, you got to buy this. You got to buy this. And I said, oh, okay. And she goes, it's only $500 to buy in. And I was like, okay, what am I buying, right? And long story short, she suckered me in. And of course I didn't sell anything because, you never sell anything if you're not a salesperson like that, right? It's like, geez. So all of these, and at the time I owned a recording studio in Los Angeles. I was one of the first female owners out there. I think I was the only, but anyway. So what happened was I didn't know what to do with these damn things, right? So I just put them in the studio and people were like, what is this? I was like, just give it away to people. Just give it away, get rid of it. And what was funny was, this is part of the story, I guess it was a year later, my app came out for my Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards. I have an app, on iTunes or something. My publisher put it out. And I said, oh, did you get the app? She said, no, let me look. Right. She pulled out her phone. She's like, it's $5. I said, yeah. She goes, $5 for an app? I go, girl, I spent $100 on your crap, something you have to suck in. The least you can do is spend 5. So it's kind of like, hello, friends. So, and I want to answer one more question before I get into trends, and that is somebody, forgive me, somebody said to me, how many pairs of glasses do you have? I don't mean to be like off-putting, but how many pairs? Okay, I'll tell you. So when I was running my recording studio in Los Angeles, I had a bucket of different, readers. I had 100, 125 different ones. Long story short, it was I didn't have a lot of them, but Bryan Cranston came in to my studio, and I'm standing with the engineer, and he comes over and he goes, oh, great. I forgot my glasses in the car. And he walks in the booth, and he's reading with like this, pair of glasses. I just went, oh my gosh. So after that, it became a thing at the studio. You could literally, it was a milk carton with 6 different readers. So I have a ton of glasses. I'm addicted to glasses. And there's always 1 or 2 like that are, how do you say, designer frames that I get. So there you go. That's what I just moved. Hold on. I'll turn the light back on so you can all see. I sat on the cord. Okay, so let's talk about trends in crime. And I was looking at some of this, but before I do that, I want to just shout out to people and say hi. No real closure. No, there isn't closure. And I want to talk about that because closure is this myth, right? We don't, closure is something people think, I want to go back and get closure. And it's like, you don't really ever get it. But what you do get, and if you do it properly, and I'm so glad somebody said that, and forgive me for not shouting out to you, what you do get is you get to grow from the experience if you stop chasing the closure of it. And by that, I mean, I've had people, posting and saying, give it up, stop talking about it, whatever. And here's the thing. The truth is that it's not that we're talking about the same thing. And for the women out there, you know what I mean. We keep having the same conversation until the conversation evolves into what we need to know. Like men need to know just what the solution is, right? But for women, we want to have the conversation and we want to keep having this, what seems to a guy like the same conversation. To us, it's like, well, I know it seems I've said that 75 times, but you could say that to your girlfriends and you go, yeah, I know I've talked about these glasses again. And they're like, yeah, and we wanted to rehash it. But it's not that we're rehashing it. What happens is each time in the telling, a little bit more gets revealed to us. A little bit more, a little bit more. So even though it can seem like we're talking about what happened and watching Shanann, giving this as an example, walking up to the doorbell, right? Be honest, how many times did you watch? Maybe more than 5. And the reason is that we think when we look at it that something's going to happen. We'll see something that will change everything for us. And the myth of closure is this. Here I go, I'm reading. Yanni. The myth of closure is that we think if we can complete it, we'll feel better. But the truth is, the only way we really feel better is when we get to a place within the conversation when we have evolved in it. So, a killer can be behind bars, but if we haven't really learned what the deeper ramification is, it's not going to be over. So bear with me. I was watching, and I really want to talk about this. This is going to be one of the crimes I want to get into and talk about, is the Craigslist killer. And I was really into that when it occurred. And I was also into Jodi Arias, so I'll mention that. But one of the things that we draw a line with that kind of draws them all together, let me say connects them all, is that when we look at Philip Markov and we look at Jodi Arias and we look at Chris Watts, even some of the other serial killers we can name, it really comes down to, we all look at each other and go, why? Why? And the other thing about serial killers that I think is, for me, just is that how do they get away with it? Like John Wayne Gacy, he put all those kids in the basement. Like, seriously, how can you be like, I mean, seriously, I get tired if I have to cook dinner, walk the dogs, and write something in the evening, okay? I can't imagine going out and killing people and being that busy and then coming home and going, Jenny, what's for dinner? I mean, the way that busyness, that mind works, I mean, seriously, do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thinking of like, wow, that's just beyond the cray-cray, right? We're like in this other zone. So I don't understand how they can like, how do you schedule it? Do you know what I mean? I hate to be that. I don't mean to be like horrible, but I mean, think about it. So when someone really, okay, let me just see. I'm going to look at this for Casey, I know. Hi, Darla. And I want to say, hi, Becky. I want to shout out to a couple people. And yeah, I think, you know what? I think Allren Video said it. People confuse closure with acceptance. And I think there's truth to that. I don't get too close to the screen because then you'll see all my wrinkles, but whatever. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Susan S. Australia. Wow, isn't it like tomorrow? And Tippy Toes, good to see you. Humanimal, yay! I know, okay, thank you. She just said, I've watched 10 times the footage of Shanann arriving home. And Tori Hartman, yay, good to see you. Hi, Supermom. Yeah, trying to stay in the public eye. Yeah, I know. Okay, let's talk about Shanann coming up to that door. All right, I want to energetically talk about that for a minute. And here's the thing. When we're talking about this stuff, as you know, energy can change. Nothing I'm saying is absolute. This is more for me, it's like a dialogue. It's more like, I wonder. So what I'm trying to say here is that when I watched her come up to the door and I watched the sweetness of Nicole Atkinson in her car, just looking and, just waiting till your friend gets in the door. I've always done that, right? I've always sat there. And then later I've wondered, what would I really do? I mean, and then the other thing is, so there's Nicole Atkinson. She let her best friend off. And we watch as Shanann, and by the way, I think that was a different t-shirt, just so you all know. The t-shirt she had on said love on it. It had writing on it. And then the t-shirt in evidence, it looked dirty, but it was like there was no writing on it. So I think they were different t-shirts. I don't know how significant that is. But didn't you want to I don't know about you, but when I watched Shanann go in that door, didn't you want to say, don't go in there? I felt like I was watching a horror movie. You remember like you're watching a horror movie and you go, don't open the door. And I really wanted to say that to her. I wanted to go, please don't go in there, girl. Or I wanted to say, can you take all of us with you? Like, I just felt this feeling like she was rushing to her doom. And that is just, so let's talk about how much video we're seeing now. We're seeing so much stuff. And I think it's very different, even with the Jodi Arias murder, when she murdered brutally. I mean, here's this little scrawny thing, and she murdered this big guy. But one of the things we want to say about that is that Jodi Arias, I mean, we've seen Travis's autopsy photos online. You can search and look at them. You can search and look at the dead body. I am going to be honest with all of you and say, I hope we never, ever see what those people had to see when they pulled the children out of those oil vats. May God keep that from all of us. Like, I really, those people are scarred. They're scarred for life. They're never, and the detectives I've talked to always say there's ones that just stay with you forever. And I'm like, ones? And they go, most of them. So I just want to say that. Let me just check in. Hi, Jillian. I know the Lisa just said I yell that in every horror movie when the teenagers go upstairs. I know, you know what, Leanne, I want you to get, we would have kicked his ass. She just said we would have kicked his tail. I'm telling you, you know what? You take 5 women and he would have been dead. There would have been every limb pulled from, I don't think we would have, if we had seen what he did to the children, game on. I don't think they would have found any part of his body by the time we were done. So I just want to say, sometimes feeling that kind of like when I have those, and I used to have them more, my anger dreams. Do you ever have anger dreams where you like kick somebody's ass in your sleep and you wake up and you go, boy, I feel good. Now I just have hot sweats. It's a different thing. But years ago, I used to go, yeah, I'm going to kick ass. Now I'm like, ugh, So trends, coming back to that. What do you guys think about this too? Every generation has, forgive me for putting it this way, but they have like a crime that stays with you. Now, my generation, I was a teenager, but Robert Chambers in New York, I think it was Jennifer Levin he murdered. And it was quite a, and he claimed it was rough sex, okay? And really painted her as the villain. And I think that the trends have changed where, years ago, if a woman was murdered, it was like, oh, it's obviously her fault, and now I think we're seeing like, honestly, I mean, people like Jodi Arias coming out of the woodwork, right? So we're looking at, she's a monster, but what's interesting is that we don't ever really look at the victim. I think now if we look at the victim, it's blaming, right? You're blaming the person. And I think we need to. Here's what my point is, coming full circle. All of the killers I mentioned, the real question is why? And I think that's my biggest question, is that when we get the why, when we get the evil, when we get what this is about, and not just push it off to something like, well, that person was this, when we get those answers, we're going to be able to really, I want to say, change things. But here's the issue. I was listening to this detective on his channel the other day, and what I really, really see is that they go in and they solve the crime. But for us, when we look at it and we want to know what's going on, they don't really have that answer. They can see things we can't see because they're trained to see things we don't see. But here's the interesting thing about that. I have a gal that works part-time for me, and she does light housekeeping and stuff like that. And she is also a nanny. So she works as a nanny for other people. And she came in and she was talking about this 4-year-old, okay? Notice I said 4-year-old. And she said, Tori, I know you're into this true crime thing. I go, yeah. And the minute you say that, I'm like leaning on my island looking at her, like, yeah. And she says, I'm really scared of this 4-year-old. I said, what? She said, I put him in the car seat and he's sitting in the back and he tells me, I'm going to kill you. He's 4. And I said, what? She said, yeah. He's threatening my life. And she said, I'm like, he goes through a ton of nannies because he scares them. And I thought, well, what about, obviously you're going to say, what about the parents? And she said, well, his mom knows and they really are trying to help him, And I think that, can you imagine this though? A child who threatens people, like he's 4 years old, he's like, I'm going to grow up and kill you. And I'm like, what? And she said, yeah. She said, now the mother knows and they're taking him to psychiatry. They're doing all this stuff to help this kid. But what about, and I know that, we've kind of talked about some of the things that parents can unknowingly do or do because they're cray-cray, right? Or drugs or alcohol or narcissists. We've talked about all of that, right? But what do you do when you look at a family and you look at this family and you go, where did that come from? And I have to tell you, this one detective who's talking about this crime that happened in New York, it's going back to court, and I'll look at chat in a minute. It's going back to court in a couple of weeks. I'll keep you guys abreast of it. But this young man, they have the DNA, they have everything. They've got like so much proof. The proof has proof, okay? And He murdered her. He stabbed her to death. Well, here's the thing. He's now 30, or maybe he's in his 20s, forgive me. But he started saying when he was 15, he told his guidance counselor, he's in one of the special schools, for children with learning disabilities, I think. And forgive me if I'm saying something insulting, I don't mean to. But anyway, he said to the guidance counselor when he's 15, I really want to murder somebody. I hate women. I want to stab them. I want to stab someone to death. Really? Now, here it is. Now he's had minor infractions, stuff like that. But now he's murdered someone. He murdered a woman, stabbed her to death. So he actually became what he said he was going to become. My question is, what as a society can we do to reach back and really look at the up and coming? How do we stop it without being invasive? How do we do that? And so I think that's a question that's really coming up for me, really, really interesting. And, somebody said they start with small animals. A lot of times they do. But you know what? I mean, what do we do with a 4-year-old who's threatening to kill people? And you know what? When he's 7 or 8, he might kill his sibling. And we just, in a way, are powerless to stop. And I think that what scares me about that is that I really believe that there is some kind of, there's something that's twisted in there. And it's not just, oh yeah, we're not just born to, to evil. Let me put it this way to you, and you all know this. Come on, seriously, how many of you have had an alcoholic parent, an overeater parent, a gambler parent, someone who hit you, someone who told you were a loser? How many of you have had some kind of personal abuse, some kind of challenge with a parent? Hello, you wouldn't be human if there wasn't something in your history, even from the most wonderful parents. You got challenges, But not all of us have gone out and said, I'm gonna go, I want to kill a small child now. Not what, but it's like, where does that go? Where are you sitting there thinking and going, wow, what would it be like to kill someone? I have to be honest. And most of you know this because you're into true crime as well. We're sitting here and we're going, I wonder, what it would be like to kill somebody. But I can't even imagine that. I kind of try to, and it doesn't work. So I think we're not in that same vein. So I'm going to take a look at some of your chat. That's the thing. Something's wrong in that little brain. That's what I think too. Ooh, happy customer. I got to watch Minority Report. Yeah, thank you for that. Chris is hungry for sympathy. Amy said he just wants to be liked, but at the same time, maybe he realizes he has nothing to lose now by telling the truth. I was wondering, because something that's bothered me all along, and I really haven't said much about it, but this detective said it, and 100 years ago, I dated a detective, but that was a long time ago. But what's interesting about this is that, honestly, guys, I think they can get all that stuff off the device. I think that there is no way you can delete this. No way. Unless, and I'm telling you, you have to find someone who's an amazing coder. So even if you say to me, well, NK got a professional to delete it. Oh, I have a message. She had a professional to, delete all her stuff. You know what? Even if she did, these guys at the police departments now, they are so amazing. And really they're hiring. I'm got to stand for a second. I've been sitting all day. I feel like everything's kind of, my pillows are bunching on me and everything. But they hire crackerjacks. I feel like these guys are like 17 because those are the only people really, am I right, that know all this computer stuff. All you young people. I love it. I love it. But I think they know exactly what's on NK's phone. And I have a funny feeling we're going to really be finding out about that. And I wonder if Chris is going to be throwing her under the bus. For privileges, maybe? I don't know. And I hate to say this because I've been like very, with Nicole Kessinger, I've been very like, just because she's a mistress doesn't mean she's a killer, and that is a truism. But I wonder, you guys, if we're going to be seeing more information. And I don't hate this woman. I mean, I think she's just, as I said, dangerously naive. She was very stupid. But yeah. See, I think there's the phone. Tammy said, doubt it. Okay, I hope we get answers. See, is it Tarly Jade? She said they can retrieve information. Some can crack through firewalls. That's what I think. I think it's just, and somebody also said there's always one crime so horrible that you remember it. And I think what happens is the crimes that hit us are the crimes that are closest to people who are either like us. And somebody posted today, and it was absolutely brilliant. And forgive me, I wish I could quote her, but I don't have it in front of me. Gosh, was it Moon Eyes? I forget. I don't know if you're on the feed. If I see you, I'll shout out to you. But she said, and I thought this was really great, and I agree with this. And this is kind of what I've been trying to say. Okay, Shanann, right? We saw this perfect person. And I'm not criticizing Shanann. Please don't take it that way. We saw this girl who's selling, hey, I'm feeling good. I want you to feel good, right? But I think that what we crave in our society, in our reality, is someone who can say, you know what, guys, I'm really broken today. It's a rough day. And I'm using this product. Most days are good, but right now I'm having a hard time. And I think that, honestly, anybody who says that to me, I'm buying her stuff, because I'll tell you what, that's real. And I think we really, in some ways, we wanted Shanann to be real with us because we saw what was happening. And I think we're looking at a pattern of the effing facade, all right? The facade of oh, don't I look good? And I think we can live that way now. We can kind of go, I have this opinion that you're trash. And it's like, that's why for me, it's very important that we get that. In some ways, what I think kind of strikes in me, and I don't know if it's striking you, but that looking good-itis. You know what I mean? Where we have to look good, we have to be, and don't get me wrong. I mean, and people have commented to me, they go, you got to ignore the haters. Somebody else said to me, if you can't handle the haters, you can't be on YouTube. And I thought, maybe I shouldn't be on YouTube, because I can't live in that vibration. And I have to be real for me. And what I wonder, and this is the thing that really gets me, what do you think about this? If Chris had just left, what if he just walked out? Please. If he had just been like the guys in the 50s who abandoned their families, right? I wonder if Shanann would have had more fans in the long run. I wonder if she would have gotten on and said, you know what, I'm really exhausted. My husband left me. And yes, I'm selling this, but I still believe in this product, and here's why. And I wonder if part of what we're seeing with this is, girl, we wanted you to be more real with us. We wanted to really get to know you beyond that. I'm getting truth bumps when I say this to you guys. I wish he had walked out the frickin' door, don't you? I was talking to somebody, and I was working with a client, and this recently, and it kind of hit me today. Her father abandoned the family, and she said, this is why everything happened the way it did. And I said, well, maybe he saved your life. And what was really interesting is that when she did the research, we found out, I'm kind of hiding it a little bit so you don't know who my person is, but when we did the research, we found out that her father had gone off and married another woman years later. It wasn't related. He just had abandoned her and her mother and her brother. He married into another family, had other kids, but here's the funny thing that happened is that those kids ended up committing crimes, being in jail. He beat the crap out of them. And she and her brother both went off to college, did really well, but they always had that ache in them of they were missing something. And I think there's something to, because they had this fantastic mother, you know, and I'm going to just say this to everybody. If you've got one good parent, you are blessed. You are blessed. If you've got two, oh my gosh, you know. And if you have a great grandparent, I'm telling you, you know what? You just need one adult who says, I believe in you. And I think that when I look back at Shanann, I think that he found her at the weakest time in her life. And I think she got better. And I think she outgrew him. And I think she knew it. And rather than recognize and say, you know what? I'm past this now. I love this person. I mean, how many of you really have ever met somebody, married somebody, right? And then you recognized this isn't going to work. Now, not everybody, I hope not. But, you know, the cliche of we marry our parents, it's true. We do. We marry the best and the worst, but can we face it? So for Chris, he married the best and the worst, right? But what he didn't recognize is the worst was in him, not in his partner. He could not handle who he was. And that was somebody who wanted to be the shadow of the woman. Now, why do I say that? You know, when I listen to Live Abuse Free, and she's fantastic. If you haven't watched her channel, she's amazing because she talks a lot about narcissism, and she's just so spot on. And some of you know I like sing her praises. But one of the things that I think happens is that, and again, I want to pull away the terminology, not because it doesn't make sense, but it's so nice and neat when we put things in a terminology package, because then we can go, that person's a narcissist, that person's bipolar. I actually had somebody say to me, you're bipolar. I'm like, okay. But anyway, the thing is about these labels is that for me, I want to pull apart and kind of see what's inside. It's okay. Like, I know it's an Oreo. I know there's like two dark parts and a little white in the middle. I know that's Oreo. I just see one of them. I'm the person that still eats the vanilla in the middle. Okay. And then I dunk the other parts. So I want to know what goes into it. And it's nice to have the brain part of it, but it's also really nice to kind of have the other parts. So I just kind of wanted to jump on and just do a little impromptu thing with you. She would have learned to live without him. I agree, Jillian. Grieve for the loss of him, but she would have rallied and grown and been stronger. I know somebody said, I want an Oreo. Michelle, you're killing me. You're not bipolar, but you might be Aspie. All right, whatever. I'll join any club where there's cool members. Let's see. That's why an FBI is okay. Call me maybe. That's why the FBI is involved, because NK is out of state now. Interesting. Okay. So I think, let's see, may have Heidi V unsolved murder years before. Oh, okay. Yeah. There's this whole thing of that Chris Watts actually did this before. I don't know, but I'm really excited. I mean, I feel like, I know this is terrible to say, but I know we can all kind of say it to each other. Aren't you excited as hell about March 7th? I want to see what's going on. I really hope he tells us something. I really hope there's something that brings together that moment when she walks in that door and when he carried them out like trash. So I really would like to find out more. I know, Julian. So hi, Ollie. Want to just say hi to a couple people. Thank you for that. Yeah, I really feel it's important to respect the victims. And I just, Tiana, where have you been? March 7th, the FBI and the CBI and the detectives went up to see Chris Watts in prison on, I think it was February 18th. And they re-interviewed him. He apparently summoned them. Yeah, somebody just said that. Catherine, you're so funny. Catherine Harvey, you're like, when are we going to let this go? And it's like, oh my gosh, I need more info. You cracked me up, girl. She said, maybe that's why he killed her, because she would have made it without him. You know what? I think you're right. I think that he had helped Shanann get well, because she believed in him. And I know for me, I got into a relationship that was very toxic, but that person did take me to that next level. And so I couldn't really look back and go, oh, I regret it. It was like, hey, I benefited from it because somebody believed in me. And I think sometimes as an empath, we need people to believe in us. We need that kind of confirmation. And so it can seem sometimes like, and this is the thing. I think that's why so many people are maybe, bear with me, just a little bitter about Shanann, because I think we wanted her to just, this is terrible to say, but we wanted her to fall apart for a minute, and just be real and just say, oh, guys, I am just having such a terrible day. And here's why, and I think that, and I'm saying, a lot, but I think sometimes people are too chipper. There's nothing wrong with being cheerful, but I think when we can spot that there's something else going on, it becomes an issue. Don't you think? I mean, that's kind of my, let's see. What did Lisa Avery say? I missed that. Okay. Yeah, Sandy said angry. Okay, I want to go back up to see what people are missing y'all here. Oh, that's interesting. Sue Reeves said that's why they're involved, but I do think the FBI went to see him, not Chris wanting to see them. I think he kind of summoned them, actually. That might have been the rumor a little. If he answers, he'll get a TV. I'm sorry. That is just, to me, like, I used to joke because I live in Asheville now, and when I lived in South Asheville, I'd say, where are all these people going? There's a lot of, when you're in rush hour, and I'm going, what do you get, a toaster? You win a toaster for living in South Asheville? What is this? So it was just kind of funny when you said he'll get a TV. It's like, yeah, he's never getting out. This guy is never, ever going to see the light of day. Maybe he thought she would visit him in prison. Ooh, wait, who said that? Sandy White. She's talking about NK. Maybe she thought she would visit him in prison and he's getting back at her for abandoning him. I got to tell you, and Terry Ross just said evil took him over, and I want to address that, because sometimes there are people, and I really want to validate this, all right, because I've actually seen it. There are people in the world who are possessed. I've seen it. It is just this kind of like, they're gone. The lights are on, nobody's home. And you can see in their eyes at times. And I forget which, I was watching Joe Kenda. If you don't watch Homicide Hunter, whoa, I love him. Anyway, he, in one of his early cases, he's sitting opposite this guy. He was a plumber, this young guy. I want to find out more about the case, but he was a plumber. And I think he had sexually assaulted and stabbed this girl, threw her off a cliff, okay? It was like this 100-foot drop. This woman climbed up out of it, got completely naked out to the street. She gets rescued. She gets, hospitalized. She actually recovers. But in the case, Kenda is talking about it, and he's detailing it. And they finally caught the guy. He did, by just good police work. And man, don't you love watching good police work where they just follow everything logically? And I like watching that. Anyway, and there's a moment at the end. He's only got like a half hour left with the guy, because cops like to limit their interrogation to about, I think it's between 6 and 8 hours now, because after that, the defense attorney can say you coerced him because they were exhausted. All right. So he looks at Kenda, says, man, that must have been just, I have dark thoughts. Do you? And the guy says, can I tell you about it? And he reaches over, and Kenda's like, but he says he's staying calm, and the guy reaches over and takes Kenda's hands, and he's holding his hands, and Kenda's like, that was weird. And he says, I secretly, I really, don't you ever want to just kill a woman and do this to her and do that to her? And Ken is like going, He's like freaked out. And himself, he said the guy was like creepy. He said what he wanted to do to him. But the point is that he even said to Kenda, yeah, and you know what? The next time, I'm going to make sure she's dead. And Kenda's like, dude, there won't ever be a next time. And the thing that I want to say about that is that, here's this like, that's just, and the guy had 2 nice parents. So I'm going to be talking about this kind of stuff more, and I want to bring up some cases that I think where we need to look at the undercurrent of why. And I think that the bigger question, the bigger conversation is, how are these crimes affecting generations? And how is this particular crime really hitting a lot of us? Well, I think that if Shanann had told us, she didn't even tell her parents what was going on, right? If she had said to us or said to her parents, this isn't good. I'm really scared. He's not talking to me. I don't know what's going on. See, if she had said that, and her mother suspected it, remember, because she kept saying to her, well, why don't you stay longer? And a couple things I want to say to you guys. If you could give me a thumbs up here, that really helps actually in the YouTube ratings. Even if you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. But if you could go ahead and like hit the like button and just thumbs up, that would really help, because it actually, if you like a channel or you like what somebody's doing, you can give it a thumbs up. So something that I want to also say that I'm going to work on, I'm so backwards with some of the stuff, just because I have a book that's due and I'm working on it, is I'm going to try and work on Patreon. And the reason I'm going to do it is because I would really like to do some specific content around, our developing our intuition more, and especially around kind of sensing what's going on with people and kind of increasing our spidey senses. So that's something I'm going to be announcing coming up, but not right now. Let me see. Okay. Didn't the DA say it was not part of the plea, Mrs. Kravitz, for Chris to give a confession? And what happened that night, they said it would be a lie anyway. I remember that from the press conference. I got to tell you, somebody just said people kill because they can. It's not that complex. I'm going to tell you something. I think let's put it this way. It's got to be more complex because we're missing something. This is something we have not yet solved. And I mean, knock wood, guys, but we found like some of the genes that inherently carry breast cancer. Why can't we also find something that is a thread? There's got to be a connection. I'm not going to say it's MLMs, just so you know. I mean, I know Jodi. How interesting is it that Travis and Shanann, both bright lights in their own way, were super salespeople, climbing up the game, and they get murdered, and they're MLM people. I just wonder if there is an inherent personality. Now, I want to say a couple other things about not seeing signs. I think we ignore signs, don't you? Don't you think we just, thank you, Katie, I love you. I think we ignore signs. I think that we have them so clear, and I'm going to just say this to you. Okay, if you and I, let's say we're all kind of looking at houses, right? We're looking to buy a house. I got to tell you, when I do a real estate deal, and I did a few, I was Jeff Lewis, know the show Flipping Out? I was his psychic, and I helped him with real estate. And I even helped him before his show launched during that time. And I was on the first year and then I left. But here's the thing that happens. I just think if we kind of have a knowing of something, if we kind of have a sense of something isn't right, wouldn't we make a different choice? I don't know. Am I making sense to y'all? Let me see what you guys are saying, because I don't want to go all over the place. Inside Edition, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Allren Videos just said traumatic brain injuries as a child is common in serial killers. I think there needs to be more research. That's very interesting. Yeah, Jim Can't Swim is a decent little channel, you know? Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Alize. You're so funny. Humanimal, what do you, you just skipped. Okay. Allison, I know. Allison are not. Yeah. Inside Edition. I just watch it when I want to get the cliff notes. And when I know something's not going to be truthful, I want to find out from them first. Let's see. MLMs, right? Oh my gosh. Let me see. After reading the Bible, private name, maybe he realizes he needs to tell the truth of who the real woman was that killed the girls. Blaming Shanann was haunting his consciousness when he knows NK did it. A thing that bothered me about NK being in the house, that whole theory, and you guys, you know, I don't know about you, but as a woman, I wouldn't have let him throw that sheet in the garbage. That house wouldn't have had her ring. Her purse would have been missing. I would have made sure that there was a trail of everything. I would have jumped in her little white car, put on a dark wig, looking like her. I would have backed out. I mean, I would have even put dolls in the back. I mean, you know, now I see why serial killers are like so busy, you know. I would have had, like, if NK was in that house, and I don't know, I'm not saying she's the sharpest tool in the shed, all right? But I am saying that, you know, I don't know. I think that if she was an accomplice, she was already running the show with him, right? She was telling him what to eat. She put apps on his phone. You know, I mean, wouldn't she have planned out the murders a little better? I mean, this guy had no plan. There was just like, think about it. He was like, you know what? I'm going to kill my family. And then I'm going to see what happens. Okay. You know, I mean, so I wonder if she wouldn't have, you know, let's see. I know. Oh, no, you did not say that. Kojak Bailey, you are so funny. She just said March 7, a big day. Chris Watts interview and having new dining room chairs delivered. Oh my gosh, is that like a woman thing to say? It's like, oh, it's a great hair day. I'm going to do a video. You know, it's kind of like, yeah. So I almost, you know what? I have kind of cleared my day. I'm supposed to have a meeting with my agent. I'm meeting with everybody tomorrow. And I said, okay, guys, I am off on Thursday. I'm going to be sitting there waiting for the, you know, as soon as that discussion goes, I'm coming on over and we're going to talk. Oh, the Bible. Okay. So this crime's gotten so funny, I'm confused. He does look like a punk. Thank you, Ms. Elise. Yeah. Yeah. Adam D'Souza. Are you talking about Shanann? Okay. Oh, am I buffering? Sorry, Lisa. Okay. You know what, Rick Winter, I don't think Chris Watts is any of the things everyone's saying about him. He just felt so great. You know what, Rick? I'm going to be honest with you. I think you're right. And I think there's something. Listen, I'm not a guy, all right? But I remember, and I told this in one of my other videos, I remember saying to a buddy of mine, we were out and he had just met somebody. And when I ran my recording studio, I, you know, was always going to lunch with somebody. I felt like Private Benjamin. I want to go to lunch, you know, and that's all I did was eat lunch. So we're out at lunch, and he was a client, and he said, you know, he's talking about this woman he met. He said, oh, she's perfect. She does this. She's great. I just, you know, I brought her home to mom, and I went, but do you want to F her? And he went, what? I go, are you like just crazy about her? And he went, well, Tori, I mean, I go, that's a divorce. People who are crazy, and I'm not, there is a zone, and Rick, I want to make this clear because I think he made a very good point. There is a zone where, and I think Chris was in that crazy, insane zone. But I think that there is that zone where you meet somebody and you go, oh my gosh, I'm so attracted to this person. It's like, I want to just like, it's like being in a puppy pile and you just want to be together all the time. Speaking of my puppies, where is everybody? They're in front of the fire. But when we look at the other side, marrying someone or being in a relationship because it looks good on paper or because they're the perfect person for you and you're kind of compatible, what can happen is that exactly what happened with Chris is that he got into that relationship with Shanann. She was way, in some ways, high functioning, and he's just a guy who was like, he was still wearing his college outfits. I mean, I'm sorry, he just never grew up. And so we look at, he even said it, I've never seen anything, I've never felt like this before. She took my breath away, is what he said. And when a guy falls like that, yeah, it's stupid dumb in that way because he's married, right? But you add that to the fact that he was obviously mentally imbalanced. So, but I do agree with you, Rick, on that. And I do think that it was sex. And I also think that sometimes that there is such a twist. When I talked about twisty, people are twisting stuff around. This guy was so twisted that I honestly think at this point, I'm going to open it up here and say, he's sitting in his cell and going, what happened? Like, I don't even think he knows what happened. I think when I was watching him, did you see this in court, you guys? Were you just watching him? I was just watching him and he was like this. There was nothing there. And people were like, yeah, he shed a tear when his mom spoke. I said, honey, he shed a tear when the judge sentenced him. That was his only tear. I don't think he felt anything. I don't think he was even there. And I think he woke up in the cell and went, what? What happened? What am I doing here? And remember, if what Live Abuse Free said, she was saying that that narcissists, and this is her area, not mine, but she was saying that the control, they hate to be told what to do. But I wonder about Chris Watts then, because he seemed to love being told what to do until he didn't. So, but I think he's sitting there going, I did what? I don't even think he's come to yet. Wear Black Thursday. I think that's funny. Yeah, I think, hold on one second. I want to go back to Mark for a minute. Mark said something. He was in La La Land. I think he got a timeout, you guys. I don't know. Seething underneath. Yes, Blue Jay, exactly. Seething underneath, humiliated. Heidi V, he was a boy. Catherine Harvey said, but NK knew he was not right, so she knew exactly how to get him hooked on her. You know what? I got to be honest with you. I think that I'm turning a little. I'm kind of thinking, I think she loved playing him. She had him hooked, like Catherine Harvey just said it. She had him hooked. She got him in. She reeled him in, and then she was just playing it with her words. She just strung him out. And as he heard it was like an embedded command. This is a kid, and I'm going to say Chris Watts is a kid who got pushed into a corner in his biker shorts and his weird kind of yeah, man, hey, man. Even as he shakes the cop's hand. Remember that moment when he goes, oh, yeah. And you're thinking, what are you at a baseball game? Your wife is missing, you stupid ass. And it's like walking up and going, oh, yeah, hey, man. And what? And the darts he threw at Nicole Atkinson, I'm telling you right now, dude, I'm telling you, as I'm sitting here, everybody, I wish he would give me those darts because he would have been in 3 pieces. I would have jumped over those cops and I would have kicked his ass. I would have been like, you're going to have to pull me off him. I know he did something. Nicole Atkinson knew. I mean, she's like, that's why she's frantic. And don't you love the effing drama when he comes out with the ring? I wonder if he put the ring in her car. And then when he went in the garage, remember when Chris Watts comes home and he goes in the garage and he's in the car. I bet he was planning on taking everything, putting it in the car, somehow driving out, right? and getting rid of everything. I don't know. Like, I'm just thinking that ring being in the car, I don't know. I think he could have grabbed it from there. Yeah, Heidi was a boy, I know. Let's see. Shook cop's hand like a gangsta. Thank you, happy customer. Yeah, he just thought he was a badass, and he was a little ass, okay? It's just like, what an ass. Yeah, it's like, he is full of shit. Oh, sorry. I think you guys, I think I blocked a couple words and you may be using them, and that may be putting you in timeout. I think I blocked the F word and the C word. So just so you know, because I don't like to hear that, but it's fine. Yeah, and Blue Jay, see how he held it at the end of his finger, the wedding ring, like this, like as if it's like, look, she left me, and it's your fault. This guy was just spewing fault. You ever see that? Like, I'm just gonna now. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Someone walk in the room and they just want to spit fault at you, and you're like, not on my watch. Not on my watch. I so would have kicked his ass. I mean, it's just not okay. Yeah, I know. Well, I think that, hey, Kristen, you're here. See, now I'm really live. She's so funny. She's like, I think I got blocked. I'm like, no, I'm just not live when you were on. I know, pointing the ring at her. Robin 171-ism, yeah. He did, Julie, he totally stuck the ring in her face. And by the way, everybody, as we're talking, if you could help me, just make sure you give a thumbs up, subscribe, tell your friends. It just really helps on YouTube for, really getting like good with YouTube people. So please hit the like button if you like it. Hit the I hate you if you hate it. But then if you hate it, why are you here? You've been here for a while if you did. Okay. Let's see. What was that? Kristen, LOL. Let's see. Shannon, I can't believe what happened. I think Nicole had something to do with it. I got to tell you, yeah, she just said, I really wonder if he shit his pants. So I guess I blocked shit as well. I don't know. I was just like, I didn't know if Katie could come. I didn't know. So I was just kind of like, it's Sunday night. I'm going back. Okay. Oh, Emily said, can you please explain Shanann's trying to order beauty products online? Was that Chris? You know what I think it is? Okay. I'm like very much a chick's chick. Okay. So I have friends that are like not, and they're kind of like, why do you get like nail polish? Why do you get like all that stuff? And I'm like really addicted to all this stuff, right? So my friends make fun of me because I have more nail polish than a salon. So basically, a lot of times I have these monthly orders and the orders go through. And when I was doing, now I don't do my hair, I don't dye it black anymore. I kind of have blue in it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I have like different color of blue. So actually my hair is a lot more of the color of what you see on my pic. Now the reason I'm telling you that ties into Shanann, bear with me, is that I know every 6 weeks I got to go get the touch-ups. So what happens is when you have an auto purchase, that your card just goes through. And a lot of times those charges go through at 2 in the morning. I don't know if any of you've had that, but you'll get charged on an auto bill at 2 in the morning. That's when they run them. And then that can be 2 in the morning here in, I'm just saying on the East Coast, but it may be 2 in the afternoon in another country where they're fulfilling the orders or they're putting the products out. So the reason I say that is because I have a feeling that 2 a.m. order from Shanann was using the credit card that he probably used at dinner, and it bounced because it may have been a debit card and it may have been an automatic charge. And that, I think, is why Shanann was keeping such a close eye on those charges, because she knew exactly what they could purchase each month. And there is something to that. She was really like, even when he was parking at the airport and he was parking in the daily lot, I'm sorry, but like, that's expensive. So anyway, I hope that answered that. So I think it was an auto charge at 2:30 in the morning. I'm telling you, the way that woman looked on a mission of coming in the house, I don't want to go through the events, but I do not think that she sat up on the computer and ordered something on Amazon or anything. I think it was an auto bill that failed. That was my sense. I wonder if he really shit his pants. I bet he freaking did. That's so funny. Hold Let's see, what's Rosemary saying? Somebody said, the fetus as the neighbor who's reviewing the tape. Oh my gosh. Okay. When we were watching, and just as a reminder, Rosemary said this, when we were watching the tape of, when Chris Watts is doing this, I don't know about you, but put your hands like this right now. I'm feeling if you can energetically copy that moment and you're doing this, can't you feel like his panic? Like when you do this, you're not doing it. If you're standing, okay, you're not doing it because you're relaxing. If you're laying back, you're kind of going, this is the life, right? But if you're standing up, you're going, I don't know about you, but if you're doing this right now, can you feel the panic in your body, the worry? And just go like this and sway. See, I think one of the things we have to do is kind of get that he was doing this. And if you're doing that right now, are you feeling that feeling? See, when we mirror, right, when we mirror people's actions, we can feel what they're feeling in a certain way. This goes back to some of the Tony Robbins stuff in the 80s. Okay, let's see. Who said I was pretty? I think you're pretty. Oh, I can't see you, but I know you're pretty. Shannon, you're so special. I love you. Shannon Boynton. I love that. Boynton Beach. I know Nicole Atkinson is the bomb. She is a badass, all unite. I love her. I love her. Okay, let's talk about the fetus. Hold on. Nerves, right, Susan? Oh, Sura S just said it helps you breathe better. Mirror neurons, yep. He had a deer in the headlights, yeah. Oh, did she? Private Name said NK told the detectives there's no camera in the back of the house. Why would she know that? Yes, I remember that. Catherine Harvey just said they asked him, Chris Watts, about the charge. He said he didn't know anything about it. You know what? Thank you, Angela. I think that they asked him, and I remember that, Catherine, he was in the interrogation room and the cop said, Chris, there's a charge that Shanann put through at 2:30 in the morning. And he literally, his back was to us, but he went, huh? And I really think he didn't know anything about it. And that kind of tells me that if he didn't really kind of know about it, she was definitely not charging something at 2 a.m. I have a feeling that was an auto charge. When they looked it up, they probably discovered it was. But let's talk about the fetus. I know I get distracted, so here we go. So here's the thing, and I am very intuitive, you know that. But I got to tell you, when I saw that image of that fetus and the bomb blowing up, like, and the fetus, I don't know if that was before or after I think it was right before the video, wasn't it? I'm telling you, that was a creepy message from God. That was a creepy message that, Shanann was telling us. I'm going to tell you something else. They knew the minute they walked in that house, he did it. Those cops are not stupid. And I think that the cops really do think NK had something to do with it. I do think that part of the reason they kind of lied. And by the way, law enforcement does this all the time. They didn't want it to get out that, and one of the cops said this on his feed. I'm going to give him a shout out. Let me think of his name. But if I give him a shout out, when you go over there, please tell him I sent you. All right. Just say, oh, Tori Hartman sent me. Because I think it's nice when we kind of support each other on YouTube. His name is Duty, D-U-T-Y, Ron, R-O-N. And he's like me. Sometimes he'll just talk too much, but he says some great stuff. And he's super supportive of his followers. But he said, about NK, he talked about the phone, which was my suspicion all along, that there was something there. Duty Ron, D-U-T-Y-R-O-N. Yep. That's fine. Okay, I'll talk about that. Thank you for bringing that up, Katie. So anyway, he said that part of the thing with the dogs push the cushions. Part of the thing with NK, And the phone is the cops were saying, yeah, we can't get anything off it. He thinks they got a ton off of it, but they wanted to make sure that they secured CW's Chris Watts. They secured his incarceration. That guy's never going to get out, okay? So I have a feeling that Duty Ron might be correct, okay, in his assessment that they might have something, because there's stuff on that phone. But if they put out there, oh no, there's nothing, we can't find it, it's gone, that kind of stuff, she's going to be like, oh, and by the way, I think we all get tricked by people like her, by people like him. I think that the reason that we do get fooled is because sometimes we want to believe the best of people, and sometimes we don't want to believe the worst of ourselves. So that's what I think, is that sometimes, like with Shanann, she didn't want to believe she made that level of mistake, and it was easier to sign her own death warrant. Yes, exactly. Crafting parties just say, he said they can totally retrieve stuff. Exactly. Meaning they can retrieve what was on that phone. Let's see. Angela says, why do you think the FBI would be there? Someone else in another channel stated that perhaps Chris was tied to another murder in North Carolina. Jenna Nielsen, he does look like the suspect. I don't know. No clue about that. I've heard about it. In other words, I've heard rumors, but I haven't heard that anybody was, I don't think, at least as far as I know, I don't know that anybody really tied him, but there is a rumor about it. And I tell you, you guys know, right, when I say this to you, the rumor mill is crazy out there, isn't it? But when you watch YouTube and tell me, right, when you watch YouTube and then you go over and watch regular TV, isn't YouTube more interesting? I tell you what, I watch these sanitized, washed down things of like, Chris Watts, killed his pregnant wife, Shanann, and their 3 children, stuffing them in oil tanks. And then the police, and they just kind of like brush over some of the nuances of what we really are kind of going, the bottom line underneath all this, why? But yet at the same time, there's so many God funnies in this case. There's so many God funnies. And I say God funny because it's like, and not in a bad way, but like, what about that fetus on that TV? And Chris saw that, I think, and then that's when he turned away. It was kind of like, dude, you murdered a pregnant woman. That is just like, you'll roast in hell. I think you're going to be on the devil's Barbie. That's all I have to say about that. It's like, whoa, exactly. Chanel just said, can you block user I am? Can't block I am. Why? Oh, that's interesting. Well, we'll find out. Okay, we'll see what happens. Okay. Is I am hitting, somehow I was pregnant. You shouldn't believe what interrogators say. You shouldn't believe what interrogators say. Oh, yeah. I agree with you, Tiana. Because you see, they're interrogating, and that's their job. And I remember asking this gentleman I knew years ago. He was a homicide detective, and I remember saying, like, what's the truest analogy to your job? Like, what is the closest TV show that you could say? And he cracked me up. He goes, well, it's your favorite show. I went, Columbo. And he went, yes, because that's what's like, oh, one more thing. Because he said our job is to coax them into telling us what we need to hear. And I remember one of the best things I ever heard, and I know most of you know this already, was you have to get your suspect to put themselves in the room with the victim somehow, by denying it when you have a fingerprint, by saying, oh no, I've never been there, when you have them on the closed circuit TV. And by the way, I'm sorry, everybody. I'm worried about walking my dog and not picking it up. If I, you know what I mean? Oh my God, I don't have a bag, because there's so much, everybody's got surveillance now. Like, they're going to come to my door with that little bag and go, you forgot something. So, I mean, like, you can't get away with stuff the way you did. And I remember asking this gentleman, how does that really work? And he said, Tori, the minute we walk in, we know. He said 90% of the time. He said sometimes, when we get it wrong, we get it wrong. But he said, most of the time we do know. And I thought that was like, ooh, okay. All right, good night, love. Let's see. I don't watch TV much. All unite. Oh, God, you get good. Okay, sorry, I just missed it because I'm at work. Thanks for letting me know. I'm so obsessed with this case. I don't watch TV anymore. I research it. I know. Okay, let's see. Thanks, Tammy. Let's see. YouTube is interactive TV. It really is. Oh my God, Joe Kenda. Julie, we got to have like a Joe Kenda fest. I love it. Cycles of possession of women and children. He's lied about why. Let's see. Private name. Maybe wear a cord on your glasses for around your neck so they're handy. You know what? No, I like having different glasses though. It's a mood thing. And the other thing about my glasses is that I would rather be in denial that I have bad eyes than kind of wear it around my neck and admit that my eyesight sucks. So that's kind of my little, denial sometimes is a good thing. Just because I don't want to know. I don't want to know that my eyesight's that poor. I know Joe Kenda's the best. You know who else I like? Okay. I know Tara Rose, they give people just enough rope to hang themselves. I love that. Does it remind me of Susan Smith? Yeah, hello. We all have quirks. Okay. Do you know what's funny? When you put your glasses, I know you're going to start writing, and it's so funny. That's so true. Let's see. Okay, I think, let's see. Okay. Humanimal, Jessica, you can let Humanimal back in. She's good peeps. She probably just said the C word or the D word or something and it came out. Let's see. Don't you feel bad for the Rucheks? This new release has stirred the pot and set out more speculation and rumors and Facebook crazies. Giving a week's notice is almost cruel to her family. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, oh my gosh, who said this? Lisa Avery. There's something to be said about good old-fashioned police work, okay? There is something about that. I am not kidding. Okay, great, Jessica. If you could let Humanimal back in, that would be great. Don't you think that they began arguing about the restaurant charge? Dude, there wasn't enough time. There wasn't enough time for Shanann to go. I don't know about you. If I walked in the door and I'd be like, you're a jackass. And then we get into this argument. And then I go, you know what? I got to order my hair products. So hold on 1 second. No, come on, girls. Have you ever been in a crazy ass relationship or in a sick situation where that fight is going to go on for 3 hours? When he said it got emotional, this is a guy who's a flatline. He has no feelings whatsoever. But for him to say emotional, that means for Chris Watts, that was like, she was probably throwing crap at him. I mean, I just think it was a lot bigger than you think. And I just wonder and I think I got this from Graham Coder as well, see, I got his name right, that he said, I think you killed the kids first, and then I think you killed Shanann. So if you could remember, everybody, give this a thumbs up and subscribe and share, because it really does help my channel, just giving this a thumbs up. Let's see. Oh my God, I can't imagine driving down the road with 3 bodies in the trunk. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Where did Chris get Shanann? We don't know quite. We don't know 100%. Yay, Spain. Chris Watts was aware that the neighbor's surveillance camera, he said it in one of his first interviews. You know what? He was loading the bodies. And I'll tell you, don't worry about that. That was just given. But I will tell you this. I think that has to do with why Shanann's father or his brother, forgive me for not knowing which Frank, said he carried them out like trash. Kim Hawkins, thank you so much. That helps so much. I'm telling you, you know what? Because I've been doing this stuff so almost full time. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you for the super chat. That really does help us as creators, just so you guys know. And we love doing it. So Kim Hawkins, love you, girly. Keep up the awesome work, and you stay fabulous. And I'm sending you like lots of good light and good energy. And Kim, I'm really kind of just picking up. It's going to be a good week for you. It'll turn around. So there you go. Madeline Catherine, thumbs up from New Jersey. Yay! Hi, Madeline Catherine. Did the dogs check the truck for smells? Kathy Doherty said that. You know, I don't know. Sorry, I'm kind of like in here. I'm going to sit back. Okay. Kim, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Do you think he had already planned to kill them when he... Hold on one second. I missed that. Do you think he... Sorry, I jumped up. Sorry. I think this guy planned it. I think he planned. And I think, hey, Jillian, New Zealand, good day. What did Jill say? I missed it. Imagine if he got pulled over. Oh my God. Oh, those are just my my dead children and my wife in the back seat. Was I speeding, officer? I mean, whoa. You know, oh my gosh, let's see. Kauai, we're all going over to your house, Annie. We're coming over. Rich, good to see you. 3 bodies in the cab of the truck and playing that Battery song. I think that will be the opening scene of the Chris Watts movie. Yay! Vela Patrick. Yay, thanks for commenting. 2 separate dogs were brought in, Madeline Catherine, but I think that was in the house. I didn't see it in the truck. Where did you read that, Blue Jay? I don't know what Blue Jay said, so I missed it. You know who else gets me a lot? Oh my gosh, I keep watching this information. Crazy Drew Peterson. Do you guys do you know who Drew Peterson is? He's the cop who married like all these young women, and he murdered his, I mean, just like, oh, I went out and murdered my first wife and came back. Oh my God. Crazy Drew, right? Oh yeah, Allison Arnott, Drew Peterson. What is with that name Peterson? Okay, no offense to anybody named Peterson, but like, I don't know, Scott Peterson, Drew Peterson, I don't know, middle name Lee. So here's the thing, Lee and Peterson. Don't marry a guy named Lee Peterson. He's probably going to, you know, I'm going to get a hate message from Lee Peterson saying, yeah, well, you're next if you keep saying that stuff. Okay, so let's see. Right? Okay, good. December baby. Yeah, he's nuts. December baby, aren't you like December 9th? I'm December 19th, aren't you? You're close to me, I think. Let's see. Chronic reader, he did plant that doll. Oh my gosh. Yes, the doll. Thank you, All Unite. Loving you. Thank you for that super chat. And I didn't even know, like I think I told you guys a while ago. Oh, December baby, you're the 26th. Oh, you get the happy birthday, Merry Christmas. Sorry about that one. I get it too. You know, they kind of, I tell you, I get friends who go, happy birthday, Merry Christmas. And I'm like, fine. You don't play that way? I got a Capricorn moon, so I'm kind of like, you know, I don't forget anything. It's like just bad of me, but so yeah. Oh, December 27th, all these great Capricorns are showing up. You know, Shanann was a Capricorn. Ted Bundy blamed pornography. I'm telling you, that guy would have blamed a pack of bacon. I mean, he was out of his freaking mind. You know, it's like they can say whatever it is, but like, I think it's kind of like, you know, blame the Martians. You know, I think crazy is as crazy does. Okay? And the thing that we have to do now in the time that we're in, is really just recenter ourselves and come back to, and it's great to have this conversation and interesting, because I tell you, true crime, one of the things that is really telling about it, and I think when we look at Chris Watts and we look at Jodi Arias, those are the kinds of cases that really get us, because we know for sure they did it. Like there's no question that they are the killers. The other places we might have an opinion, you know, there's still not that smoking gun, or we don't have like, it's not like that person walked in with a knife and the blood dripping. You know, the truth is that it's kind of like, I'm going to say this and y'all are going to hate me. It's kind of like a football game for guys, right? Because it's like they get all this, like they get into it. And I used to really love football too. I was a big fan. And one of the things that, thank you, Susan S. You are such a sweetie. I appreciate the super chat. Okay, so it's like football, right? Because you know at the beginning, you got these two teams that are going to be like this. And at the end, somebody's going to win. Somebody's going to go home a winner. Somebody's going to go home a loser. So the fact is you've got an outcome. So when we look at a case like this, and we look at the fact that we know the right person is behind bars, Michelle Donald, I just love you, Michelle Donald. And I also want to say you put up great posts. And I know who a lot of you are. It's so exciting. It's like, yeah, you know. So thank you, Michelle Donald. Really, really insightful posts. You put up some great stuff too. So I was talking about, yes, when we actually know the who did it, it kind of gives us this opportunity in some ways to go, who are all the players and what's really going on? Come over here, Owen. Come say hi to everybody. Come on. He's my older whippet, and he is grumpy. He's my grumpy boy. He's cute as hell. But I think it gives us that opportunity to really examine, really look at stuff, really kind of decide what happened? Why did this happen? Because we know the players. And I think that once we get more information from Chris Watts, I think we're going to really kind of get that that we can relax more into, let's look at what's going on in the world and what's how these things happen so we can shift them. And that's why this case is not over yet, because we absolutely know he did it. We know that he killed these 4 people, and it boggles the mind. So what I want to say about that is that when we know they did it, we can look at the undercurrent for it. And I was saying earlier because I did a live feed on my spiritual stuff on Facebook today, and I talked about the Me Too movement in terms of whether you're for or against, whatever. But come here, buddy. In terms of what's the next step? We can't just stay in that. It's kind of like a football game that never ends, okay? You have to know that movement means something, that it brings you to something, or it just fizzles. You ever notice that? But you can come up. Do you want to come say hi? His little ears. He's such a cutie pie. I'm going to lean down and get him in a second. But come here, boo boo. He's old, so he has a hard time with his leg. But I think that, let's see. Stay. Oh, you're so funny, Tammy. I'm a Libra. Ooh, I love Libras. I just eat with Libras, though. You ever notice that? You have a particular, like, sun sign friend? When I have Libra friends, we just sit and eat. Because we like to, you know, they fall on my second house, astrology stuff. So let's look at this. Yay, Shannon, you're back. Okay. Yeah, love from Boston. Thank you so much, Linda. We have our very own crime club. Yeah. And you know what? I think it's super important that we are able to say what we really think, you know, and I'm a cook, go figure. That's funny, Michelle. Let's see, when the police were going through Shanann's closet, wait a second. Oh, are you going to talk about that doll sound? Okay, yeah. So 2 things I want to mention. The one is with I'm sorry, what is the one? It's when the canine went into the closet, remember that? And you heard like a child crying or something, and people were asking me because I'm like into woo-woo stuff, and I said, are you kidding? That was a doll. There was so much stuff in that room. That dog probably stepped on one of those dolls that cries, and so that was the sound. Ooh, let me see. Signs are coming in. We got that Virgo. Ooh, Alana, I'm so sorry you're going into a retrograde. You must be either getting a lot done or very confused. Let's see. It's a tough time. Ooh, Paula, I love me some Leos. Very fiery. Tammy, Miss Sensitive, Cancer. Let's see. Okay. M. Hank, hi from North Carolina. I'm in North Carolina. Me too. Oh, Madeline and Aries, that's why you're so fiery. I like you. Let's see. We Libras are lovers. You know what? You're going to laugh. Okay, Miss Stephanie. I have one of my dearest friends. She's an astrologer, and I call her my lazy Libra. Libra loves company. And so if you just sit with a Libra, they are just the happiest people alive because they're like, I'm like, Kim, I'm going to do, you want to do something? Oh, okay. I'm like, okay. I can literally sit and work and she'll just be reading a magazine. Libra, as long as you spend time with them, they don't care what you're doing. They're great. So yeah, my little lazy Libra. They're so lovely. Oh, Capricorn, Mary, you are just getting, you've got, what is it? Pluto sitting on you too. Okay, let's see. All right. Ooh, we got such a good mix here. Oh, yay, Chris Boston. Yeah, I know there's a lot of Capricorns. Well, I've got Moon in Capricorn, so I tend to attract that, that too. We are stubborn, Miss Taurus, chronic reader. Taurus, we're stubborn. I'm going to keep asking you to talk about the doll. You should, because I need to talk about it. Okay, so that was the doll in the closet with the, I feel like, what is it? Colonel Mustard in the library with the pipe or something. Okay. So the doll in the closet with the dog, I think was just, and I'm woo, but that was really just a doll, and I think it's funny that people are like, oh gosh, okay. The doll, the one, how funny is it though? Check this out. The twisty, right? The twister, he used a plastic white twister cover put over the doll and just the feet are sticking out. That was one of the, I think, in fact, that might be the last text he sent to Shanann, or one of the last ones, Dude, I got to be honest with you. If somebody sent me that, I'd be, I'm going in the door like this. I'm not kidding. I'd be like, I'd be, oh no. I wouldn't be heading in the door, but I also would be very worried about my kids. And I think I said this in another video too, is that I would be really worried. I'd have thought he'd killed my kids. I've got to tell you, if I saw that doll, wouldn't you think something? I mean, seriously, if I sent you a picture of a doll covered like that, you'd be like, I'm not going to Tori's for dinner. I mean, you would just not be coming to my house, okay? You'd be like, honey, let's just go to the movies instead. Let's pass Tori's dinner party up. I mean, seriously, you wouldn't want to come over, Okay. Leo de Capricorn, that's funny. Thank you, Carrie, that was funny. Mary Carpo, the doll was creepy. I'm telling you, I know, right? Somebody said I wouldn't go home. Yeah, I wouldn't either. Holy foreshadowing. Yeah. You know what? Paula Chapman just said it. I am so sorry, but I want to say this. She should have stayed at her parents. And Madeline Catherine, yes, I wouldn't know what to think either. Oh, Madeline, I think I mentioned you earlier because you're the person that posted that. I can't remember right now, but I'll come back. I know that would freak me out, right? Chanel Charlotte. I know who you are. Am I supposed to remember you from somewhere else? I don't know. Okay, Tori, I need your help. It's possible that Mandy from Shanann Watts came from a family that is full of Christmas cheers and K. I don't understand. I don't know who Mandy from Shanann Watts. I don't know what that means. I'm so sorry. Let's see. The doll wouldn't have been a big deal if this murder didn't happen. Thank you. Thank you, Humanimal. You must love pets. Doll is most fascinating part of this most horrifying crime, strange part, apart from the kids in the tanks. Oh, please. I would have had a friend go around the house to check. Lisa, yeah, LOL. Yeah, he told her Bella did it. Mary Carpo, 3-7. That's when, sorry, look how bloodshot my eyes are. I'm really tired. That was when, that's when Chris Watts, the new findings, the new interview is going to come out. Isn't that crazy though? He's really sending a message like that with a doll. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. M. Hank, I would have sent 911 over. She should have stayed in North Carolina. I think it goes back to Live Abuse Free. She's fantastic, by the way, if you haven't followed her. she talks about narcissistic supply, which is why you're hearing people use that, because she's fabulous. She knows what she's talking about. I don't in that arena, so I don't pretend to, but I will say that she talks about Chris Watts as a narcissist, and I'm quoting her when she says she thinks he was getting supply from that. He knew that she would have this response, and her response was, I don't know what to make of this, and all the laughter. Dude, she wasn't laughing. Somewhere in her, she was shaking in her boots. I would have been, wouldn't you? Seriously. I would have insisted on an explanation too, Tara Rose. Oh, is it Tara Rose that said that? Sorry, somebody said it and skipped down to you. Bella may have had a psychic hit, yeah. What do you think he's going to say? I really don't know. Let me see what if her girls. A 4-year-old wouldn't have wrapped the doll so neatly in the twister thing. Yeah. I think he did it. I think he would have. Can I tell you something? He, like I said, he would have blamed a pack of bacon. You know, like I mentioned, he would about what is not. You know, Ted Bundy. They want to blame anything that will say something else is evil. They don't want to be the evil one. They want to be the one that casts the evil. Reels you in and then watches. You know, it's like that guy who's always trying to pass you on the freeway. Yes, Jan, live abuse free. Yeah, that's exactly who it is. Jan Casa. Let's see. I'm going to show it. You're fine. Live abuse free is a great channel. I highly recommend her. Let's see. Me too, Shannon. Let's see, Shanann. That would have given me chills. I'm telling you, seriously. If I sent you that picture and I said, hey, come on over to dinner. I don't know about you, but I would not go to your house for dinner. I wouldn't go home. I wish Shanann had stayed in North Carolina. And I think, God bless her, I think Sandy knew it. And I think she wanted her daughter to stay home, you know? Sorry. It's like, y'all wouldn't have come to my house. It's like, years ago, I'll never forget this kid. His name was Sherman. He was like 9 years old, and I was young as well. And his sister and I were both 14. It was Tamika and myself and her baby brother. And we went to see Rocky, and it was the original Rocky. And we're in the theater, and there's this moment when Rocky's drinking, you know, all these raw eggs, like, I don't know, 6 or a dozen of them. And he had just said to his trainer, nobody comes to my house. Nobody, you know. And Sherman just yelled out, no wonder nobody comes to your house. No one would want to be around you like that. So it's just like, yeah, we wouldn't do that. Let's see. She settled for his skater boy ass. She sure did, Blue Jay. I'm telling you. And you know what? I'm glad you said that, Blue Jay. She settled. And you know what happens? I don't know if you guys know this. I'm sure you do. There's a story of the frog that jumps in the pot, and the pot's cold water. And you turn on the heat very low. Frogs can't feel heat, so they boil to death. And I think in some ways that's what happened with Shanann. I think she jumped in. The water was cool. It got a little warm. She was still swimming around, didn't notice it. And then I think he jerked the heat up real high. And I honestly think that she was extremely loyal. I'm sorry, Capricorns, you're loyal. Loyal to a fault, guys. And once a Capricorn, in that sense, decides you're it, they're going to build their life with you. They are building their life with you. And they will not tell on you. Now, Sages, you can't trust us. I mean, we'll tell everything. I'll be like, oh, let me tell you about him, you know. So, but, you know, I'm more along the lines of a Phyllis Diller. Let me tell you, you know, as opposed to the, you know, the little Capricorn. What did she say? Tara Rose. Here we go. Yes, live abuse free is right. Tara Rose. That Chris CW was gaining narc supply when he sent the doll picture. Sandy knew Chris Watts was NFG. I like that. To the core. He dropped the mask in front of them. I think he did. Kojak Bailey. Thank you so much. Okay. Tori, tell us what you think about the doll photo. Love you and your channel. I love you. Thank you for the super chat. It really means a lot. And it's very generous, and I really do appreciate it. I know that I haven't kind of said that enough, but it really is a kind gesture, and it helps. So thank you very much. She's asking me about the doll. All right, I'm going to tell you what I think. And this is more like an intuitive thing. I've got to just straighten out my skirt. I'm like, you know how like you're sitting there all of a sudden. Okay. I think he staged that picture. I think he deliberately laid that doll out. And I have a feeling, and I know some of you may say, no, but I'm going to ask you this what if. This is why I've said I thought he killed the girls first. There was no picture of them after dinner. And there was no way to tell what they'd eaten because he threw them in the oil tanks. But here's the thing. I mean, not for sure. I think, can you imagine him going over, putting that doll in that spot, and think about it. He was looking for something white. He actually had to physically open the twister game to pull that white sheet out. This is something that you don't just go, I'm going to put the doll down, I'm going to put something white over it. You have to think about where you can find something white. Really think about that, right? So this isn't just, okay, guys, I'm just going to put this pillow right here and then put, I got to put a sheet over it, right? So I think that what he did was he took that doll, and again, this is total opinion, supposition, but it's kind of my intuitive hit on it. I think he laid that doll down. I think he'd already killed the kids. And remember, in August, it's light later, So you have to remember that in that part of the world, too, it can be light till 9 or 10 at night, mile high. I mean, it's bright. So I think that he probably murdered the girls and sent that message to Shanann. Now, I want you to imagine, though, that's double supply for him. Not only would they already be dead, but now he's in that rage, and he puts that over and he sends it to her. Maybe it was the day before, maybe I'm mistaken, but I think that if he hadn't already killed them, then it was because he was trying to get a rise out of her. So that's what I think. Does anyone know for sure the timeline on that? I want to kind of know. I'm pretty sure that it was on that day. Did you the blue face on her phone as she entered? Oh, the blue on her phone. Blue Jay, I think he sent that on the day that she came home. I would have to check. Let's see. Catherine Harvey said, and my narcissistic husband got so violent when he found a new supply. He wanted me and her. Luckily, I was not that broken. He did me a favor cheating on me. I'll never be in another relationship like that. No, you won't. And see, this is the thing that happens is that it's for some of us, it's our Scarlett O'Hara moment. It's kind of like, as God is my witness, I will never blank again. Whatever that blank is for you. And when that happens, when you turn like that, there ain't no going back. You're not going back. You're not going to revisit something. You're not going to, whatever. Gosh, I have to prepare for a meeting tomorrow. So let me see. Let's see. Oh, okay. Somebody just corrected me. No, it was days before she came home. Rosemary, are you sure? Like, I feel like it might have been the day before or something. It was very close. It was very, very close. So thanks for the correction on that. I think it was when she was in North Carolina. I don't know, because I feel like she would have, I don't know. Okay, let's see. It might have been, I can't say. Dana, I'm sorry I said that about Peterson. I apologize. Let's see. I know. The pic was taken on August 9th. Thank you, Melissa. Okay. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. They were home. When did she go? Okay, he murdered her on the 13th. That means he sent it to her when she went to Arizona. Because if the picture was taken on the 9th, she was home. So he couldn't have killed the kids at that point. But I'm just thinking, I bet you that was kind of his first moment of, dude, like seriously, if you think about that, wouldn't you think that, I'm thinking like if I did that, if I put that doll out, I would be telling that person something. I think he wanted to warn her and scare her and threaten her. I know for me, I still can't mention the person's name who stalked and terrorized me because I'm still, but it was years ago. But I will tell you this, that, I think there were a lot of signs that Shanann saw. And I think the doll was one of them. The dogs also alerted somewhere in the basement. So I wondered what was going on in that basement. And I wish we had found out more about which dog was down there and why. But the doll, so if it was taken on the 9th, but the thing that I don't understand is if it was August 9th, he would have been home. They would have all been together. So he wouldn't have sent that text to her when they were home. So I have a feeling he did send it when she was in Arizona. Oh, okay. All right, I will. Let's see. Shannon said, put your PayPal account. It's actually PayPal at, let me just write it out. I really am bad at this. At Tori Hartman, that's me, .com. And by the way, if you do need to reach me, best way to do it is it's PayPal at ToriHartman.com. Oh, I know. If you need to reach me, when you go to my homepage, when you're on YouTube, there is a About section. There's lots of links in there and also an email. Let me see something. Humanimal, I know. Oh, Plunder, I can't even watch that stuff. The doll is so cruel and proves premeditation. See, that's what I think, Plunder. Okay, so can we just have a moment about those robotic voices that go, and now on this day, Chris Watts was in a pool of blood and why? Why are you doing that to us? So I just don't even go there. Let's see. If Chris Watts had taken the bodies to the basement, couldn't the dogs have alerted on that? Joe Tacoma, you were cracking me up. Okay, so seriously, what's he doing? Walking the dead bodies around the house? I mean, don't take that the wrong way, guys, but I mean, like, you just reminded me of a story, but no, I don't mean anything by it, but I think it could have been that when he killed them, he might, and I don't know where the laundry was, but I didn't see it in the basement, okay? But I think he could have taken some of the things from their room and either put it in one of those plastic totes or bins and put it downstairs or something. There might have been a scent there, but it just cracked me up. It's like, okay, so years ago, and it was the old Chock full of nuts in New York, and my best friend Rahima and I were just going over to her house. It's 49th Street, right? Chock full of nuts right on the corner. We went in to get a donut, okay? So, it was a donut shop, that was it. So we go in and it had 2 doors on either side. So we go in and it had those counters that kind of went like an S shape. And so there were 2 cops sitting on one side facing out, but there was a counter around it like this. So I was like, and I just always walk in. I'm like, why are they sitting there? Whatever. And I walked in and there's this dead body there, right? And it was a knife sticking out of the guy and blood everywhere. God bless Rahima. She turns around and she goes, so it looks like they're on their way to the morgue and stopped off for a donut. I just went, we're getting out of here. So that just reminded me of, I don't think that he would have carried the bodies around the house. However, Joe, I don't know, they were 40 pounds each. So, and also when Nicole Kissinger, I just want to say this. I know, right? I want to just say this. I'm wondered about the fridge temp too. Freaking weird. Yeah. I missed this Wonka because he wouldn't pay. Oh, okay. Yeah, he had to kill him. Awful. Yeah, the dog did alert. Okay, what were we saying here? I'm disturbed that when she found Shanann, she still had her bra on. What's the first thing a woman does after a long trip? But there's also something else to keep in mind. She was pregnant, and they may have hurt Okay. Sometimes, you know, it's like if you're having that pain or you just are so tired. Remember, she had in severe neck pain. She might, the best she might have done was to take off that shirt and put her nightshirt on. So keep in mind that there's any possibility. They did also ask Chris. They said to him, "What about the what does she? Oh, what does she usually wear to bed?" And he said, "Oh, a t-shirt and a pair of underwear." That's what she was wearing. So I think he did give us an indication. And also, I think when he describes how Shanann had murdered, I think it was Cece or Bella, forgive me for not knowing which one, but he describes it. I think that's how he killed Shanann, because the girls were smothered. And I think when he talks about choking them, I think that's how he choked Shanann, because he even said she was kind of on her side. And, you know, I think he described the whole thing. I mean, he told us. I want to mention NK before I wrap up tonight, but I want to mention this because this is where Jodi Ron said this. And again, when you go to those channels, please let them know I talked about them and I recommended them. I would appreciate it. And before I finish up, please, if you haven't already, give the video a thumbs up. The reason people always ask you to do that, thumbs up, is because it actually does help the channel in the rankings. So if you think about it, go hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel, because then you'll get notices of when things go up. And, you know, you may get a last minute notice. Oh, the crazy Sagittarian's on right now. Go get her. Okay. So when she says in the interrogation, they were so little. Remember that? They were so little. How did she know how little they were? She talked about it like she'd seen them, didn't she? Now I'm putting another thought out there for you. So the other thing that disturbed me a lot, and I'm starting to really kind of get, here's the thing. People have affairs, sorry, for all the time. Not your people, but people do. And I think we really need to look at the idea that you know, this woman, she had said his cheese slid off his cracker a long time ago. And I do think she's right about that. However, I think also that she really, I don't know, I'm starting to get that she was smarter than we thought. So I'm really curious about the March 7th, the releasing of the video. You guys are going to be like crazy on YouTube that day, because you're going to be jumping over, like, you know, 411 to me, to this one, to that one. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, I want to see what everybody's saying. So, you know, I think it'd be really fun. It's too bad we can't do like a panel, right? It would be really fun. Okay. I know my gal is human. I'm so sorry. Yeah, happy customer said, no, girls were seen August 12th and the doll photo was sent on the 9th. But here's the thing, she was in town with him on the 9th, wasn't she? So 13, 12, 11, I thought she left on the 10th, but maybe I'm wrong. She might have left on the 9th. So if I have the date wrong, you're so right. Okay, let's see. That's what I think, Rich. I thought she was very street smart. They were so widow. I know. Glam Dolly, you're so funny. I want to say one other thing about her voice, because see, the studio I had in California was a voiceover studio. And it's so funny when people were going, her voice, it drives me crazy. And other people were going, what difference does it make? Voice makes a big difference to all of us, because there's a rhythm that we will and won't listen to. And there are certain things that we hear in a voice that we go, I can't listen to that. We can't listen to it because it's going to drive us crazy. So I have to be honest with you, that kind of whiny voice, it gets me insane. So I'm not a good person to talk about the voice. I had to really listen to, beyond it. I honestly think in some ways, let's see, is it true that NK got a makeover? I think it's really funny when I see those, like those things they put up, what she'd look like with, yeah, Jessica, your honey wants your voice nice and soft. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I love Homicide Hunter. Eva, you're like rockin'. Eva Flores. I love Homicide Hunter. She left on the 10th. He took off work. That's what I thought. Okay. Who said that? Game Fire. Okay. So here's the thing. If he took that picture on the 9th, he couldn't have sent it to her on the date when she was home. She wouldn't have texted him and said, what does that mean? She would have like come down and gone, what the hell's wrong with you? You know, like, I don't know. I think she would have said something. But we don't know also how depleted Shanann was. When I saw her coming up that walkway, man, that girl just looked like she was ready to fall over. She was noticeably pregnant. She was really exhausted. I could see that she just wanted to get home, and she was rushing to her death. Well, I know it's Mary Carpio. It's, well, my, you are the man I'm looking for. I love Joe Kenda. Okay, Kenda-isms. No, NK's not weakness protection. I made that mistake already. I look at NK versus Shanann. What? Okay, so Rich, that's because you're like a decent human being, okay? And you also are a man of good taste. But here's the thing that we can never account for. Sexual attraction. We just can't. I don't know, you know, you can look great on paper. You can be the world's supermodel. Why is that? Why do supermodels date like the ugliest guys, right? That was the old cliche when I was growing up. Well, it's the same thing here. It's like, you know what? When you're attracted, it doesn't matter. And they had a crazy ass chemistry. And one thing I want to ask too, and I was actually thinking of looking at their astrology charts, because I thought that would be very interesting to see. Because one of the things I noticed, and my mom was an astrologer, that's how I it's a hobby. It's not something I'm brilliant at. Although people tell me I can do it well. But whenever I see Pluto in a 7th house energetically, what that means in English, it means that a certain planet is falling in the chart. And what that means is, there's often a death to a spouse when I see that. And by the way, the original Pope, his walking cane had all of the stars on it, the astrological stars. Let's see. I know, look at Christy Brinkley and Billy Joel. He got hot with her, right? Like all of a sudden he was better looking. What happened? He was also a great guy, you know, great guy. Let's see, astrology chart them. Okay, yeah, it's easy to find. No one gets into bed with her bra on. Tara Rose, you are so funny. The only time I used to ever fall into bed with anything on was when I was drunk. And she was not drunk. She was exhausted. Let's see. Okay, we'll do compatibility. The picture, at least Avery was the picture taken. Maybe it was. Bella's injuries may be from her disposal, not with fighting. The only thing that I want to say about that, though, about Bella's injuries, and Shanann had a smack across her face too, but Shanann, we could see it. I mean, not we, but the coroner did. I wonder, though, if Bella's injuries were somewhat a little of both, you know? So I wonder if but she was a fighter, man. She was a fighter, like her mom too. All right, I hear you, buddy. He needs something from me, my old man. Let's see. She had a chance to go to bed. All I can think about, Kojak Bailey said the doll photo was days before the murder. Yeah, it was, but I think he sent it closer. I know, shoving her in the tank. Don't you just, all right, you want to come up and say, okay, hold on. I'm going to grab my old man so you can see him. Hold on, guys. Come here. Not you, Gavin. Gavin's going to try to walk over. Okay, Owen, sit down. All right, this is Owen. It's Owen. Come here, buddy. Sorry, guys. Okay, come here, buddy. There you go. That's Owen. Hi. Do you want to come here, my little Prince of Darkness? He's like, no, I've got a boo-boo on my head. He's got like some kind of thing. Okay, there we go. This is Owen, and you guys have met Gavin. And it's actually Owen Wilson, like the actor, because he was blonde and goofy. And Gavin is General Gavin, actually, named after the famous general from World War II in Vietnam, because my dad served under him. Let's see. And Bella was still on South Carolina time. Ooh, yeah. That's a good point, Tammy. Oh, I know, my boy. I know. That's why he was sitting there crying. He was just like, and then he'll like, now I want to go get a toy. Let's see. Loves his, yes, he does. He's lying down. Blonde and goofy. He is Mr. Goof. And he's like kind of the angriest dog in America, but he's not mean. He's just really a curmudgeon. He's so funny. Yeah, I know. Game Fire. Yeah, I'll send him to your house. Okay. So, I've got to take them for their evening constitution, but I have so enjoyed hanging with y'all. This was just like very impromptu, just kind of a chatty chat about Chris Watts. I do want to kind of cover some cases that set, I want to call them a little bit cases that set a trend or a generational change. For example, the Central Park rapist, that was Chambers, Robert Chambers, he killed Jennifer Levin. You know, that really changed the way we saw New York at the time. A lot of us were horrified. It was the Preppy murder. That's what it was. Because he was just, you know, this very good looking guy. You know, it's funny how some of them are so good looking and some of them are like, whoa, scary. And it's just, there's no in between. Okay, let's see. I have a Wheaton. Oh, Wheaton Terriers, Jess, they're so cute. Good. Okay. The coroner said she bit her tongue trying to fight for her life. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Preppy murder. No, there's another one. Yeah, you're right. There was another one with because he was called the Preppy Killer or something. I forget. But they did kill those guys in, I want to say in Queens. I know. Robert Chambers looked like the anti-criminal. He really did, Jessica Coe. You're so right. Yes, 411 he's really cool. Okay, guys, you know who my personal favorite is too? You are going to get this right away. True Crime Loser. Is he hysterical? He's hysterical. Okay. Murder by a Tree. I know, Michelle. I know. I love it all. All right, you guys. So I wanted to say thank you for those of you that did the super chat. Thank you for those. Just my heart, thank you. And for those of you that showed up, my heart, thank you. And just giving me a chance to chill with you on a Sunday evening has been a great gift, as usual. And please remember, say what you mean what you say, but don't say it mean. And remember to be kind to each other. And I'm going to see you real soon. All right, everyone, much love. Have a wonderful night. God bless.